Hello, hello everyone, and welcome back to the World Cup 2021. We're approaching the final stages now. The stakes are getting pretty major here. 6 teams are remaining, and they are all contenders. The first game we have for you here is going to be Hong Kong versus South Korea, 2 powerhouse teams. I am Doomsday, and joining me on the cast today is fellow Brit lad Dimash. What's going on?
What's going on, Dooms? Oh, man. I mean, it's finals weekend. The stakes couldn't be higher. Every team wants to get through to next week. You know, not just for the badge, but just, for the glory of getting into the top 3 of the World Cup. But especially with what we've got coming up, only one of these teams are going through. Hong Kong, South Korea. I don't know who to choose.
I mean, if you looked at historical results, past power, SK are the ones with all of that history of just ranking so highly every single year. Hong Kong historically have been the underdogs, right? They've always been that plucky, lower-seeded team that would always upset the higher-seed teams. But this year, they have a lot of late-game power, and I'll be honest, I am surprised at how well they're doing on these harder pools. They keep continuing to scale up, and their carries have been playing excellently. They are in such great form. So Hong Kong are just as feared as anyone else in this tournament right now.
Yeah, no, it's actually incredible. Just building on that about how, in comparison to, South Korea, I think a lot of people have sort of looked at these rosters and gone, well, South Korea, they've traditionally had the stronger roster, and, especially in these high skill caps, they do really well, but this Hong Kong team is something else. They've, in their match against the US last week, they took 2 points off the US on Hidden 1 and No Mod 6. I mean, just incredible performances from them. I mean, traditionally the US have never really lost on maps like No Mod 6. So to actually take that off them, is an impressive feat that I think South Korea will struggle to do as well.
Yeah, that's an important point. You got to mention it. Like, the No Mod 6s, the finger control sorts of maps, that's the US's territory, right? They are the strongest team in the tournament on those maps, without a doubt. They just don't lose them. So the fact that they dropped that, and they also dropped the Hidden 1 as well against them, those are 2 strong, US picks, man. Hong Kong really took it to them on those gimmicky picks. I imagine they'll keep that going. Here's the question, though. They're going into a game with SK. This is finals week now. This is a pretty spicy pool we're looking at here. There are a lot of nasty maps, man. Even the basic ones here are intense enough to bring out some inconsistencies in even the front four of some of these teams, right? Do Hong Kong have the depth throughout this pool to take on South Korea in the best of 13? I guess we'll find out, but do they?
I definitely think they have the potential to. I think what's going to be tricky, especially for Hong Kong, is that they've really got to hope that some of these maps go their way. I mean, you can see South Korea coming in with the first ban, the No Mod 4 there. There are certain things that they are beginning to target to try and take some of the power out of this Hong Kong side. You mentioned some of the more gimmicky maps, tricky reading, that sort of thing. I think that's really where South Korea need to target, especially sort of No Mod 6, some of the more tricky hidden maps, definitely some stuff from Free Mod. That's the sort of things they need to take out to try and balance this, whereas on the other side of the table, Hong Kong, they need to probably target some of these more speedier maps, which it looks like they're doing. No Mod 5, DT3. We've seen South Korea, especially against some of the speedier teams in this tournament, like the United Kingdom, for example. They've really got a decent speed roster. So pulling that from under South Korea is going to take away some of those easier points.
Yeah, you can see the clear, strategy with that going into some of these bans, right? Like, the frozen gear, 240 BPM pure stamina is gone. Renai Syndrome as well, 270 BPM pure speed. It's as clear as day. And, the ban that the SK put in, and the other ban as well. The first one, that Murtvetsky, basically Ramsing 2. It's crazy slider tech. And the free mod 1 is basically like an old school no mod 3, right? It's essentially low BPM streams. These trickier, gimmickier maps, they are targeting those. Plenty of the weirder ones open, though. But I think SK will be okay on like things like low approach rate. They've been perfectly fine on things like that so far.
So first map gets locked in. It's Hidden 3, Dooms. Hidden 3.
Oh, this is such a cool map to start things off. I was looking at this being one of the weirder ones, you know, one of the maps you may see the least of. But hey, first pick of the round. Prove me wrong. Ice Kelp. And Ice Kelp maps tend to have pretty weird spacing to them. That's combined with low BPM streams and lots of 1.6s. Lots of 1.6 bursts on this. With plenty of whacked out stream spacing. Pretty hard on Hidden. Nasty on Hidden.
Yeah, I think that's probably what Hong Kong are thinking. I think that they're probably looking at this, you know, the South Korean side and going, you know, this is a tricky 1/6 map. You know, it's got very sort of unusual patterns, hard to keep up consistently. Because this map nearly 3 minutes long, I think. So it is tricky to maintain that consistency for that long. And looking at the players they're drafting in, you know, MCY4, A21, Shirahara Yuki, Dragbit 3, very comfortable on this sort of thing. So it's looking to be a very strong first pick for Hong Kong, but never count out South Korea.
Yeah, SK are going to be competitive on pretty much every map that's thrown out here. It's going to be up to Hong Kong, I think, to match them on many of these picks. But things like this, all those free mod picks, they've been picking into free mod heavily all tournament Hong Kong. And with their core four, the four that Hong Kong have here, this is their core four of carries, right? Starting off really strong here, but we'll see if it works out. Losers bracket, of course. One of these two teams will be going out in 5th and 6th position. A good placement, but you know, top four. Top four sounds pretty juicy. We'll see which of these two teams have the metal for it.
Yes, there can only be one. And out of the gate, you can see slight lead there for South Korea as they adapt to this map. Slightly better than Hong Kong, but no early combo breaks, which is a good sign for both teams. Oh, as I say that though, double break for South Korea. Flying Tuna, Karuna will find breaks. Shirahara Yuki will follow though, but it's still in favor of Hong Kong slightly.
Slower part here. 3 FCs to 2, so it's a good start here for Hong Kong. Not too much in it though. The performance from everyone, the comfort levels look very even.
Comfort level's good, but Karuna was having a bit of issue there keeping the combo, but Dragbit 3 will find a break for Hong Kong. He doesn't have great accuracy as well, so that's probably going to hurt Hong Kong quite significantly. You can see a bit more of a comfort level in terms of accuracy coming out from South Korea on this. Another break there from Shirahara Yuki. So it's still 2 full combos apiece, but Flying Tuna is recovering. Oh, as I say that though, Karuna, Flying Tuna, Nope, KJK, all find resets at the halfway point. Brutal combo breaks for South Korea there.
Again, it's slightly with Hong Kong, a bit more now, and a slight edge thanks to the recoveries. It's on A21 though, to hold against Karcher. 2 really high performing players this tournament. There goes A21, it's with Karcher now, and with SK.
Yeah, it's Karcher's to throw away. He's performed so well throughout this tournament, like you said. And he's putting on another clinic here. Still holds triple break there for Hong Kong. A21, Shirahara Yuki and Dragbit. MCY, the only one with combo now. Getting negated by Karuna. You know, South Korea looking to absolutely steal this.
Still a bit more of this to go, but the combo deficit is so large at this point. That 200k, 300k should decide it. Hong Kong can't combat it at the end. Yeah, it's going to be a breakpoint to start this off, going to SK. And we can thank Karcher for that. That was a monumental performance, though. Look at that 900k. That is big.
Absolutely, that's huge for South Korea to start this off. A breakpoint puts them in a really good position. They've got so much of the board, or the map pool, I should say, left to choose from. They could pick something really comfy here, you know, guarantee that lead. But it is unfortunate for Hong Kong. They did have very good scores on that, you know, especially A21 really pulling it in, but just that little section catching him out big time.
Yeah, it was really competitive. A really competitive first map. It was just a one-person performance from Karcher, just hauling his team through. The rest of South Korea trading blows, maybe falling a bit behind against Hong Kong. So yeah, I think SK are going to be giving Karcher some pats on the back for that one. Pulling him through that one. I mentioned there are plenty of the board to go. Plenty of really good SK maps in this matchup in particular. And they're going straight into some of that low AR though. Taking some low approach rate free mod into Hong Kong.
Yeah, this is an interesting pick from South Korea as their first pick, I should mention. You know, we saw the sort of stuff that Hong Kong could do on a map like this last weekend, and it's a decent margin that South Korea potentially have if they can put the roster together for this. Could be very interesting.
Oh yeah, both teams can put together a good roster for this, just with 2 mods on each. They have the mod specialists. This low AR high CS map in particular is a pretty brutal one for the hidden players. And that goes without saying, because obviously it's low approach rate hidden. But this map in particular is really hard on hidden. So it may be down to some of the other players to really hold the weight on that one, unless they have a outstanding low approach rate hidden player. This map, of course, you can see the BPM there, 207 BPM. Lots of linear aim, lots of overlaps, but there are, especially in the second half, some pretty hard stream patterns that are nasty to snap to on the hidden. Far more playable on No Mod and Hard Rock in my opinion, but we'll see how the players take to it.
There you go, no overmodding on this one. Pretty expected at this late stage in the tournament.
Yeah, this is not an overmod map. Maybe for Hard Rock if you have a particularly mad Hard Rock player. I could see that. Otherwise, no. RLSC drafted in for Hong Kong. One of their premier gimmicky no mod players, as well as Minecraft 570. SK sticking with the same roster.
We have had double breaks come in for both sides. Flying Tuna and Karcher were the first to go. Dragbit then followed. Minecraft 570 followed just after that. Both teams still holding on to 2 full combos on either side. But there goes A21. More of a in favor of South Korea. Nope, KJK will go as well though. So I think there's another full combo gone for South Korea. One apiece, but look like they're still going to pull this back on supporting combos, especially with a break coming in from Minecraft 570 and A21.
It's slightly with SK, isn't it? Getting into this first stream section here. Oh, those hidden players holding on really well, gotta say. And there goes RLSC. That's big for SK. It's really with them now. Karuna, the only FC left.
Yeah, Karuna, the combo and accuracy god that he is going to try and take as much advantage of this on the Nomad as possible. See breaks coming in from Note KJK and Dragbit 3. There just isn't enough combo on the side of Hong Kong to help them with this. You know, Flying Tuna Karuna putting in the work with those massive combos. Karcher as well recovering nicely at the same time. There we go. We see big breaks coming in. Triple from Hong Kong as our LSC, A21 and Minecraft 570 all find breaks. A little bit of combo with drag bit, but nowhere near enough to match what South Korea have got at this point. A very, very dominating first point coming in from South Korea, and the break with Karuna there at the end.
No FC allowed for Karuna, but that's 800k. That's pretty big. Yeah, just the team performance from South Korea, matching Hong Kong player to player. It was a good pick in the end. Playing into Hong Kong's free mod game and coming out on top. A really big 50-50, I'd say, won there from SK. And I gotta say, those hidden players held onto that extremely well. Dragbit 3 and Flying Tuna. Flying Tuna is specifically getting that entire ending stream section. Very well played. Got a 4 out of 40 though for Karcher. That slider break.
Oh.
Ooh. Moment of silence for that one. Another good play though.
I'm just looking at all the players. They're all performing so well on this finals pool. It was more of the fact of unfortunate breaks, slight miss-aims rather than necessarily actual difficulty with the maps. Both these teams really putting in the work this week to try and put the best scores on the board that they can. And even though it's 2-0 at the moment to South Korea, I still think Hong Kong they've got some metal behind them. I think they can pull something back here if they can keep this up, rally the troops, so to speak. It's down to the second pick.
There's plenty of room for Hong Kong to wean their way back into this game. You know, it's a unfortunate start for them, dropping 2 relatively competitive points. But next pick, and plenty more in their strengths to go for. They're taking a moment, it seems, to try and rally themselves. But yeah, I totally agree. I mean, the last one, sure, it was about 700k in the end, but it was very competitive, and both teams definitely had their fair share of breaks on that. The miscounts and accuracy is very even, but just the individual combos, particularly at the end, through the harder part, that SK managed to run away a bit. So yeah, I think it's a decent start for Hong Kong. But SK, even more decent, winning those 2 relatively contested bits.
It's just that little bit more that South Korea putting out. Those individual performances have made the biggest difference so far.
Yeah, I say it wasn't for Karcher, it'd be 1-1 straight up.
And surprisingly, it hasn't been, probably their sort of star player, Flying Tuna, that has been, pulling that in. He's been pulling in average scores so far, so if we see even more from him, I mean, South Korea are looking to have an incredibly good day.
Yes, you know he's going to come into this game more and more as the maps go on. I mean, the last pick he was on the Hidden, which is definitely a tough mod to take. Still took 600k, which I'd say is a pretty good score for Hidden on this. I say it's having a decent start, but the fact that the rest of the team is pulling their weight, that's going to be really good for SK. They have carries throughout their roster. And even the new players, Karcher, it's a relatively new addition. And he's having a good start to this game, once again.
So Hong Kong, they're not going to be deterred by that free mod 2. Going to bite back with free mod 3.
It's confidence, that is. I mean, we were saying Hong Kong pick into these free mods all the time. I don't think they would be too deterred, especially with these free mod picks being very different in style. This one, you could draw a few parallels with the free mod 1 that was banned. It's another flow aim heavy map, although this one is pure 190 BPM, so it's actually relatively fast. Weird streams, heavy velocity changes in this, lots of slider techie, quick slider patterns and things. It's kind of similar to Critical Cannonball, which many of you might recognise. It was a hidden map in Grand Finals from last year. It's kind of similar to that in feel, in my opinion. Except it's on free mod, so pick your poison.
Yeah, hard rock or hidden, pick your poison.
I think it's relatively even, depending on whatever mod you pick. It's a relatively balanced one, this.
They've decided, South Korea, to keep Flying Tuna off the hidden, keep him on the no mod. So perhaps hoping for a standout play from him as they put Noob KJK and Doomsday Fanboy on hidden hard rock respectively. Over on the other side of the table, we have A21 on hard rock, Shiraha Yuki on hidden. And so far, it's only Doomsday Fanboy that's having real issue. Sorry, Doomsday, but...
It's only early days. He's only just come in. I believe in him.
But a good recovery, though, from A21. For his early break as well. Very slider-intensive, this map.
It's pretty intensive the whole way through. Rhythm game size, but it doesn't really let up. With the exception of a bit in the middle, if I recall. What you see here is what you get the whole map, pretty much. Already halfway through here.
Again, there's lots of time for an implosion. We see Dragbit falter slightly as he finds a combo reset. But A21 is still there with near enough NFC, aside from the early break. There goes Karuna for South Korea. Nomod gone. Flying Tuna as well. Drops the Nomod.
It's only the hidden left here for South Korea. Nope, KJK. Having to hold the mantle, but it's not going to happen. Hong Kong are running away right now. 3 big combos, and those 2 mod players as well.
Look at the comfort from Hong Kong. You see both the hidden and the hard rock player holding 98% accuracy on their respective mods, and MCY coming in with 99 accuracy. I mean, what can you say? That is an outstanding score from Hong Kong on this free mod 3.
Yeah, excellent stuff here from Hong Kong. They're on the board. Avoid that 3-0 with a great performance. You know, near 900Ks, near 1 millions on 3 players, including the 2 mod players, A21 and Shiraha Yuki. Yeah, really good plays there. But nope, KJK though, with that hidden FC as well for South Korea. The only full combo, but that was pretty mighty as well.
It was. The hidden players having a great time on free mod 3. Yeah, unfortunately for South Korea, Doomsday Fanboy just was not having a good time on that hard rock. Struggled to build anything throughout most of the match, and then once the no mods are gone, that was it for South Korea. There was just nothing they could do.
Well, there's plenty they still can do. Next pick goes to them. They still have a point in tow thanks to the breakpoint. No more free mods left, so we won't see any more of those. Both teams looking to try and exhaust that as quickly as possible, apparently. They could keep going with the low approach rate, although that might be a bit of a risk into Hong Kong. I think South Korea probably have the stronger team on paper 4v4 on something like that hidden 2 right there.
Yeah, definitely hidden 2. You'd assume that South Korea could probably do quite well on DT2 as well.
Oh yeah.
No mod 2 potentially as well. A lot of these stream-intensive maps, I think, will do quite well, but they're going to go with no mod 6. Interesting. Very interesting from South Korea here.
Yeah, I think they're definitely saving some of those speedy picks for later. They must be going for these 50-50 plays while it's early on, right, and where they have that buffer. When it gets closer, if they can go into those speed picks where there's less room for error for the other team, it might play into SK's hands. We'll see, though. It's looking like that's what they're doing, though. Number 6 though, game set. Not going to be set at all yet, we're only 2-1 in. Plenty more to go in this matchup. Oh, and this one is such a chaotic map. All the No-Mod 6s have, but this one in particular goes really hard on complex rhythms.
Yeah, and in my eyes, this is really surprising from South Korea to pick this. I mean, I know it's different from the No Mod 6 last week, but I just look at the scores that Hong Kong pulled on last week's No Mod 6, and it was pretty impressive. I mentioned at the start, it was one of the maps that they took off the US. I know South Korea, they're a different team, but it's still surprising to see them want to battle Hong Kong after last week's performance on a map like this.
They're brave. They're going to try and brave the fire. I mean, head to head, yeah, Hong Kong actually beat South Korea's score handily on last week's No Mod 6, but it is a very different sort of map. Less intensive on raw aim, although this definitely does have some of that sort of low BPM aim, but it's more focused on raw rhythm. Maybe it benefits some of the gimmicky players on SK more. I can see it. No Mayaz. I'm a little bit interested in why Mayaz isn't playing this.
I don't think we've actually seen Mayaz at all so far. So might not be having the best day at the moment.
It seems just better. A scary prospect. What's the accuracy on this one, by the way?
Oh yeah, you definitely see some 94s and 92s coming out from both teams potentially. As we see RLSC, one of those lower accuracies, he is the first one to go. Good benefit for South Korea. Drag bit 3 goes as well. That's 2 down for Hong Kong. South Korea looking very strong here.
All 4 of the players up to like an S rank in accuracy. Zyson falling behind a little bit though. A definite comfort deficit here, although they are starting to break. 2 breaks from SK, as I mentioned.
And actually RLSC didn't actually break, it was a Bancho lag, so suddenly Hong Kong, I mean, I think that was an actual break there, but
I think it was, yeah. That was an actual break. He misaimed it, I'm pretty sure. It's still with Hong Kong a little bit though. Just a little bit, even despite the accuracy on drag bit.
Yeah, the combo will definitely help that a little bit as well. He has recovered it. But again, I'm looking at these full combo players. Can they hold in this second half? MCY4, 821, Nope KJK and Flying Tuna. They're the ones to watch. Any of those drop, we're going to see big flips in the score potentially from one side or the other. RLSC finds another break, but that's not one of the big combos for Hong Kong. Zyson will go as well, but again, same situation, not one of the big ones. 4 other map left to go. What's going to happen? There's about 100k within this, and it's just still Zyson with another break, but it's a big combo reset as MCY4 finds a reset. There goes a full combo for Hong Kong. Do they have enough combo left to pull through?
I think they do. They do. Just a little bit, as long as Nope KJK and Flying Tuna hold it.
That scoreboard wants to pull over. I think it is moving slightly, especially as we get towards the end of this map. RLSC will find a break. It's starting to go the other way. Hang on. What happened to the 8th player of South Korea?
Might be behind. I think the stream's a little bit behind, that is, but yeah, I think everyone played that. Actually, it did end up being a SK win. They did pull that back. They pulled it back and they won by 26k. The player leaving early there, so the stream coughed, but yeah, 26k for South Korea there. Just about. Those 2 FCs holding their nerve. Actually, everyone held their nerve. There's a couple breaks in the end there on some of the chokes there from Hong Kong. I think it might have come down to that. Barely anything between the 2.
Oh my. South Korea, they won that by the skin of their teeth. There's nothing in that at all, especially coming to the end. You know,
nothing at all, man. A21.
A21, yeah, he had an outstanding performance on that map. Really, really high score. But it wasn't quite enough for Hong Kong.
No, you can have all the ACC you want. He had 97.3 on that. But 2 FCs, that's just going to win out. And honestly, 2 full combos on that is very good. Flying Tuna and Nope KJK taking the fight to Hong Kong there. Brave picks, but they're working out for SK so far. They are working out, although it has been very close. They're reaping the rewards from these neutral maps so far, and that's going to be pretty huge with some strong SK picks still to come, I think.
Yeah, I definitely think that was probably one of the more, like you said, 50-50 maps in this pool, but you can see why. You really can. That was very intense right to the end. But we have Hong Kong's next pick. Again, it's interesting. They've gone with Hidden 2.
Now, this one, yeah, this one's a bit of a head scratcher. Hong Kong have a pretty decent low AR roster, right? They do have a pretty decent low AR roster. Picking this into SK is asking for trouble, in my opinion, because SK have a very strong 4 on these sorts of maps, and they are getting quite hard now. I like it though. It's brave, man. It's brave. More contested picks, but I didn't think this was one of the Hong Kong picks at all.
No, it's a very interesting decision that they've gone with here. But, you know, maybe it's going to pay off. You know, this Hong Kong side, they're not at the level yet where they're getting skill capped on these sorts of maps. And if that's the case with this Hidden 2, maybe, you know, if they're not finding this as tricky, it could be very solid for them. If they could pick this up and take this away from South Korea, it's a real blow to South Korea's options in terms of picks. Because like you said, you pick this as a very strong South Korea map. If they haven't got this in the bag, what else don't they have?
Yeah, this one is not quite AR8, it's AR 8.3, but it does feel very similar. This one has a lot of aim presence, lots of linear aim. It's 6-star mechanics, so, you know, the jumps are quite significant. There are some really hard linear aim patterns in the choruses and plenty of overlaps to read. It's a very all-around low AR map with a bit of everything. Some early breaks there from Hong Kong. 1 FC to 3 right out of the gate. Make that 2 on that 1-4 jump there. This map's full of those as well. And on low AR, that is a hard snap to make.
Yeah, it is. So South Korea, they're still holding this lead into the first quarter, but it's not by much. Minecraft 570 will find a reset though. Oh, big reset though. A21 Shiraha Yuki will go. Zyson goes as well, but Dragbit's the only one who's got any combo for Hong Kong. I think this might have been a mispick if this carries on the way it's been going.
Well, we'll see. Well, that's a big linear pattern there. One of the harder patterns. Both of the FCs on SK hit that. But so does Dragbit 3. Big combos holding through that. It's going to be important if Hong Kong want to fight their way back into this. The thing is, next part is relatively more doable, but still full of little sections you can break on, so nothing decided yet for those FCs. No one choking this section. I mean, brutal if that's the case. But even this section has little linears and triples you can break on. There goes Shiraha Yuki. It's only one of the smaller combos, though, for Hong Kong. bridge. Still watching those 3 massive combos. 2 on SK, 1 on Hong Kong. And they're making this look like light work right now. Still in it, Hong Kong, honestly. They're still in it with their recovering combos. But the time is running out.
Yeah, they might need a bit of a miracle here, I think, to pull this back. One break from South Korea would definitely help them on their way, but it has to be one of the big combos. Ison won't do it, I don't think. Nope, KJK would, but they're going to say 21. And Minecraft 570, yeah, it's just not quite enough. Very unfortunate, though.
SK just about to hold on. Nope, KJK and Flying Tuna doing bits in that one. Pretty insane. Nope, KJK, 900k there. Flying Tuna doing so well as well. Those two pulling South Korea through that pick. It's another breakpoint for them. Brave from Hong Kong, but it wasn't looking like it, really. They were always behind a little bit throughout the map. You got to give props there to Dragbit. He did everything he could, nearly getting 900k himself. Excellent play there from Dragbit. Honestly, looking at that, I think their roster was pretty well suited for it. Clearly they were just feeling that map today. I can see why. But South Korea are a tough customer on low AR hidden. At what point do SK start dipping in to some of that speed, into some of those mechanics? Mechanics, I think, are more of a neutral ground as well. Hong Kong still have the players that scale well into maps like, say, No Mod 1 or Hard Rock 1. But when it comes to speed and things like that, I think SK are still going to be the stronger team, and they are starting on that now. Breaking out that break the hierarchy. I didn't even intend that one. I didn't even try. That just came out.
Just rolls off the tongue. But no, yeah, like you said, this DT2 is one of the maps that I look at it and I think Hong Kong will have a tough time picking it up as a point. Because like you said, both said South Korea, they're just such a strong speed roster. Able to battle against some of the greats in this tournament. You know, specifically against a team like the UK, who had, you know, they have a strong roster, one of the strongest, and even they barely won out against South Korea. If they're comfortable enough on this map, they are going to be tough to stop.
The maps are hard enough, though, that, you know, maybe 1 or 2 carries could take you through to a win on this, and Hong Kong do have the individuals to do that. But against SK, they're going to have a 4. I think that's the key difference here. Hong Kong, it's up to like the 3rd and 4th players of Hong Kong to step it up, because they have struggled to put together a full 4 roster for some of these DT picks in the later stages. So I want to have a quick word about this map, because this is obviously the DT2, and all the maps in this spot have been all stamina maps, basically just raw stamina maps at like 230, 240 BPM, fairly moderate. This one, though, is more about control. This is full of doubles and quads and even note bursts, so the focus is more about control, but it is still very stamina intensive at the same time. It's a very different sort of map than what we've seen in this slot so far. I think that's been reflected in the lineups, because the Hong Kong lineup is normally very similar, but there's no Tira in this one. Shira Hayuki filling in instead. Maybe the control-based nature suits him better.
Yeah, it's hard to say. The one thing you can say is actually Hong Kong made the first move. They're off to the better start. Adjusting well to this map. Can they keep it up? Only time will tell.
Early days. It's just the early break there from Doomsday Fanboy, just getting into the flow of things. Hey, not important right now. It's still pretty even, honestly. Not a lot of it.
Oh, that changes things up a bit though. Minecraft 570 finds the first break. Really going to start to see it pull towards South Korea now. It's Doomsday Fanboy back on the recovery. Minecraft 570 goes again. Now South Korea finally take the lead here.
Those high combos looking pretty good, especially for Hong Kong as well. They are definitely fighting back here. Oh, there's a break from Shirahayuki though. Setting back a bit.
Doomsday Fanboy though, and Karina will go. It's kind of stay even. Minecraft 570 though, who was trying to recover, does find a break, so it is still slightly in favor of South Korea, but it's barely. Look at this, it's really coming down to accuracy at this point. Both teams desperately try and hold on to those two full combos. Look how close that is, wow.
Yeah, not a lot in it at all. Nope, KJK is definitely holding on a little bit. Look at his accuracy. He's combo gaming, but can he hold that? Flying Tunas, no problems, but with 2 FCs to 2, it's pretty important everyone holds.
Oh, and there he goes, but A21 goes as well.
Oh my gosh.
That is huge.
It's with K. The recoveries.
It is
getting so close.
Doomsday Fanboy, they're holding, but there goes Shirahayuki, another supporting combo. And South Korea are going to steal it away at the last second. Doomsday Fanboy finds a break, but it's nowhere near enough.
Not enough.
Unfortunate for Hong Kong. They had it. They had it. They needed a hold for like 20 more seconds and it just slipped away.
Yeah, properly close. Far closer than maybe we were expecting. Hong Kong giving a good fight there, but South Korea proving to be too strong on that DT. Flying Tuna, he does what he does best, doesn't he? Look at that 99% FC. Cleans your life. Clean as your life from him. RLSC though, doing the job for Hong Kong with even better accuracy, mind you. Known for his no modern gimmicks, RLSC, but he's got a mean DT control on him apparently. That was an excellent score from him. He's going to be on the losing team though. Small margin.
Yeah, a lot closer than I think we were expecting that to be. But again, you mentioned it was that control element that probably favoured Hong Kong a bit more. But it just wasn't enough against the South Korean side. But it shows their potential. South Korea, they're winning these picks, but honestly, the margins are not great on all of these maps. South Korea, they're really having to fight through all of these picks against Hong Kong, which is what you want in a match like this. But it really is up to Hong Kong to try and pick smart here, keep themselves in this.
We aren't out of strong picks yet, but yeah, at this point, Hong Kong now are in a pretty sticky situation. Has to be said, they're going to have to fight through some very hard picks to pull this one back. I mean, that shows that they can have a good fight on the remaining DT maps. And they are going for one of the very gimmicky DT picks, which I guess makes sense for Hong Kong. Hosuru Marionette. This is basically a 190 BPM complex stream map of sorts. Kind of feels like a alt map style thing, but it is at a faster BPM. Lots of tough flowing patterns all the way throughout this one. Relentless bursts and streams. I'd say this is one of the harder maps in the pool from my own playthrough. Definitely one of the spicier ones, I'd say. That's scary going into a team like South Korea. But Hong Kong have been taking risks. some of them haven't been paying off, but they are really going for it.
I mean, we did actually see both teams play this map last weekend. South Korea actually played it, I believe, in their first match, which I think was against Japan, and they didn't put up the best of scores on this in comparison to Hong Kong. You know, Hong Kong, if you go by last week's scores, they have a good margin on this map. Take this away from South Korea, but it's whether South Korea perform to that same level again. I mean, looking at South Korea, I think they're probably going to look to put in some decent scores on this, knowing that Hong Kong were also strong on this sort of map.
Yeah, Hong Kong have been consistently good on these SIP picks. You know, these sorts of picks have been something that Hong Kong have been consistently good at. And yeah, you look at the head-to-heads, South Korea, yeah, they definitely look like they have the edge over South Korea on this sort of map. But I think this one in particular is definitely a step up in terms of raw difficulty compared to those maps. But in style, yeah, very similar. If they can perform to that level again, Hong Kong, then this might be a really good way back into this game. They're going to have to play well, though. SK will not let them get away with this one, not at late stage. We'll see, though. The lineup's looking similar, I guess. There's still no Mayaz. Is Mayaz even available? He played DT4 last time for SK, but he's not here.
I'll just say, we've not seen him at all, so the consensus would be that maybe he's not available. Early break there from Flying Tuna as well as Karuna. Not a good start for South Korea, but still a fair amount of time. It's very early on, those breaks. Interesting that they did break, considering that there really isn't much adjustment from DT2. And KJK will go as well.
Bit of a slow start here for SK. Good start here for Hong Kong. Early days, but the omens look like a repeat of the last weeks on this pick. It's just Doomsday Fanboy left. My boy, the only FC left for South Korea.
He's trying to put it in, but it's 1v4 or 1v3 now as 821 does find a break. Those resets from his teammates, and then KJK, Karuna and Flying Tuna will not help him with his goal. Hong Kong have already established a very nice margin here. At this halfway point, it's going to take a massive reset from them. Allow South Korea back into this. Shiraha Yuki will break, though. That will help. 821 had a reset as well. South Korea, can they start to rally these supporting combos? If they do, they might put themselves in an advantageous position, but...
Oh, Dragmit 3 for the break there. I think it's with SK right now.
It will be, yeah. Those supporting combos from Karuna and Flying Tuna, but they need to hold, though. They did struggle in the first quarter of this map. Flying Tuna goes. There you go. It's still slightly with South Korea. Well, they won't be able to pull it back on just that alone. As long as MCY4 holds for Hong Kong.
They are trying to pull it back, though, South Korea. Karuna's combo is pretty big now, and Hong Kong keep breaking. But they still need a bit more. There goes Karuna. That's going to be the outlet gone.
And there goes Doomsday Fanboy. Final nail in the coffin for South Korea. As Hong Kong, with the full combo from MCY4, bring home a nearly replicated score from last weekend. It's 2.9 million. See Hong Kong take their second point in this matchup. It's not over for them.
Nope, they avoid the match point. They really needed it if they wanted to stay in this game. MCY4, one of their core members, coming up with the goods again. That's a really good FC. Shout out to Doomsday Fanboy as well, who really tried to carry his team through here. Just a one miss. Pretty major, but no, it is going to be a point to Hong Kong. Winning their own pick. The DT4 Gambit working once again. I don't know, I guess maybe South Korea just not that big on these maps. I'm a little bit surprised, actually. I mean, they did alright. That Doomsday Fanboy score was very good. They do look vulnerable on that sort of DT4 style. Does that open up something like Nomad 3 into them? Possibly? Different sort of map, but similar sort of low BPM aim control.
I think the control elements are really strong for Hong Kong. But again, it's really going to come down to South Korea. I'm looking at this Hard Rock pool and thinking none of these teams have touched it at all. Surely someone's going into it. They are. South Korea will go in for the Hard Rock 3. Finally, we get some Hard Rock. I'm so excited. Got a showdown.
Some of that Hard Rock gaming. And yeah, South Korea have a good Hard Rock roster, let me tell you. They do. Going into the techie side of the Hard Rock pool though, with this real lazy map. You see the map here, you can probably guess what sort of map this is going to be. It's very light techie. Tricky streams, tricky kick sliders, tricky SVs. Any of those. Obviously on Hard Rock settings. The anti-mouse map. I didn't think this was too bad on mouse. Pretty hard though, for sure, as all these maps are. Honestly, looking at this, I don't think either team have really dipped into this sort of pick for a little while. Not for the last few weeks has either team picked into Hard Rock 3 since it's been added to the pool. So, something a little bit different from the side of South Korea here. I don't think Hong Kong are too keen on this, but they are capable on Hard Rock. They have the mechanics players for it. They won't mind the AR-10 at all.
Yeah, I think South Korea, they just want to test the waters on Hard Rock a bit. You know, see where Hong Kong really lie. I mean, they have 2 breakpoints in hand. Yeah, they're in a really strong position. They can take these sorts of risks. And the first break coming out from Tragbit does favour South Korea here. These tricky sliders, you know, Hong Kong, especially on when we saw Public Parallel, they were very strong on a map like this, but having a bit of issues when you apply the Hard Rock. MCY4 finds a break as well. Again, a very short map as South Korea continue to hold 4 full combos. It's looking strong for them as we approach the halfway point. Shira Yuki will go as well.
That's going to be painful for Hong Kong. It's 4 FCs to just A21. I thought he said this was an anti-A21 map. He's the only one left for him. I think he's lying. Humble.
Karcher though does find a reset, so it's not a full way for South Korea, but there goes A21 right before the slow section. It's unfortunate, but I don't see anything Hong Kong can really do here unless South Korea just have an absolute terrible time and just reset right up as we hit this next tech section, but it's so unlikely.
Kicking in now, the Burt Rice little stacks here. Well, it's only 1 FC left for South Korea, but there's nothing left for Hong Kong. This section's brutal. It's just Karuna left.
Karuna holds the 4. Does find a reset though, can't bring home the full combo, but has done nearly 900k on this map. That's more than enough.
Yeah, he just kept going. Hit that burnt rice section. Just kept going.
Karuna was denied the 900k because he missed that last slider.
Oh, man.
Oh, it was taken away. No.
He's just being humble. Nah, I had an 800k score, guys. 800k. Yeah, that was pretty big from Karuna, but it was the team performance really overall. It was a strong pick. They did so well in the first half, and Hong Kong had those early breaks. They could never really recover. A good pick from SK for sure. Oh, it's going to be nasty now. Hong Kong are going to need something very special to pull this back, because South Korea still have a lot of powerful picks in their arsenal. Hidden one is the Gambit from Hong Kong on their next pick. Going for some aim-heavy Hidden. They've done well on this before.
Yeah, like you said, Hong Kong, their backs are up against the wall here. They've really... Well, they don't have a choice. They either got to pick well or they go home.
I think this is probably the pick out of all the maps remaining, honestly. Because they have done so well on it in the past. It's one of the maps they won against the US. This one, a bit different though. This one is more about high-speed aim. You can see the 240 BPM there. But it's quite a bit faster. Lots of anti-aim and kick slider patterning here. But the core theme is aim on Hidden. It will suit Hong Kong just fine.
So here we go, as we enter the 9th map of this matchup. It's the first chance South Korea have to close this out. They need to do it on a break point though. But it's not like they don't have a lot of other opportunities still remaining. As Hong Kong are going to need to find another 4 points. They want to keep their hopes and dreams alive. As we find early breaks coming out from 821 Shiraha Yuki though. But there's so much of this map left. It's not really going to be a concern at this stage.
It's a long map, this. And plenty of tough parts to it. The early breaks are going to put them behind, but nothing decided just yet. Gotta say though, they're putting in the heavy hitters, South Korea. All 4 of these players have been really contributing to this South Korea lead. They're all on good form.
Wow.
Main 4 of Hong Kong holds the nerve here. This is the main 4.
It really is, but Shiraha Yuki finds another break. That's nearly a quarter of the way through the map. That's going to hurt them a lot more as A21 goes as well. Still 2 full combos though for Hong Kong. They're not out of it yet, but you can already see the score margin begin to really start to pull towards South Korea. So far, they are on excellent form on this Hidden one.
Yeah, man. All 4 of those FCs on SK looking like Sunday morning. Super comfortable. But so are those FCs from Hong Kong, but 4 against 2. What can they do?
Nothing yet. They've not had any opportunities to try and steal something back. South Korea continue to hold, and A21 finds another tragic break right before this slow section. It's just not looking good. Every quarter that we go through of this map begins to favour, but finally South Korea, they have a slip. Nope, KJK finds the first reset for them, but it's still 3-2. And MSTY4 will go as well for Hong Kong.
That's not looking good now. It's on Dragbit. It's all on him. If he breaks it, it's all over. That's simple as. SK now, they've dropped another one, but we are waiting on, like, odd slips. That really is it. SK, it's unfortunate if they lose this now. They're looking so good.
And look who's left. It's Karuna and Flying Tuna. I mean, there goes Karuna, though. Dragbit versus Flying Tuna. If Tuna drops, there is a chance, a very small chance for Hong Kong to pull this back.
It is very slim. All the other combos from Hong Kong, they keep breaking. 200 combo from A21, but they are struggling to recover it all. I don't know if Dragbit can do it on his own, you know. Nope, KJK is recovering. This is looking pretty dire now and going to the last quarter for Hong Kong.
I just don't see a way for them to get back into this. They're holding. Dragbit and Flying Tuna still holding full combos. Oh, there goes Tuna.
Oh, God. Is there enough time? Dragbit can only pull back about 300k. It's going to be too late, I think. He can end it in style, though, but they are going out. Surely.
Yeah, there's no way Dragbit can do it on his own. It's a solid, absolutely amazing performance, but his team couldn't support him through it. As we come to the end of this map, it is unfortunate, but we will be saying goodbye to Hong Kong as South Korea advance once again.
The Juggernauts just can't be stopped. South Korea will haul on. They will guarantee themselves top 4 at least. And honestly, that was a pretty strong performance from start to finish. They were in command of this game pretty much the entirety. Those first few maps, going for those risky neutral picks, those 50-50s, and managing to win a lot of them in some close fights. But after that, they were able to just maintain their lead and just take it home. A really professional performance from SK, I think.
Yeah, they really did clean up in this match, and they once again continue their winning streak in the losers bracket. After losing to the United Kingdom in round 2, they have had a stellar performance, and they knock out another big team. It's really unfortunate for Hong Kong, as they have had such a journey this year throughout this tournament. Huge props to everybody on that roster, but South Korea advanced, and like you said, top 4. What a recovery from them.
Absolutely. I do want to put a word in for Hong Kong, though, who have really impressed me this tournament. And this is their best run for a long time. You know, normally known as those early game powerhouses, but they've shown this year that they have the skill ceiling and the power on the harder pools to really take it to some of these strong teams. Had some of those close maps gone the other way, this game could have looked very different.
No,
so they can take heart from this.
Yeah, they really can. And so we find ourselves at the end. We've dropped one team out of the 3 that we have to say goodbye to this weekend. But we do have a bit of time before the next match. We actually have a very interesting show match coming up very shortly. In just a few hours. Should be very exciting. That will take place at 17 UTC. I'm really looking forward to that one.
That's going to be a pretty cool one. So, yeah, in a few hours before the next losers bracket matchup, we are going to be having a show match, as Dimash mentioned, 1700 UTC, that is. And it is essentially a Team Rookie versus Team Veteran show match. You got the Zoomers versus the Boomers, right? So, I believe on this pool, we're going to be having the team of Chomikbox, who was Malachevsky during this tournament, Gonza, Roikoho, Ataraxia, Excurito, Krez, Dito, and Lever Russian, who are players who have, I believe, debuted in this tournament for the first time against a team of players who have played many tournaments on and on, consisting of Mouse Easy, Musty, Ekoro, who played a lot of the earlier OWCs, Rafis, Woof Woof Wolf, Rucker, Doomy, and GS Blank. So, yeah, we'll see which generation's got the better players. I think I know what side I'm on, not going to lie.
It's the rookies versus the veterans. It should be an absolute stellar match, and I hope you'll all join us for that one. That'll be taking place just once again at 17 UTC. So in a couple of hours' time, we will return. But until then, I want to thank you, Doomsday, so much for joining me once again. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, it's always good. It's always good. I wasn't actually meant to be on, but filling in for lovely Monk is actually really cool to hop onto this game. Really good matchup to watch.
And of course, thank you all once again for joining us. We will return for the show match at 17 UTC. But until then, we will say goodbye for now.